gains to custom enhancement, we deliver results. Late model Racecraft. We talking or we racing?
Welcome back to the channel, guys. That's right, you are looking at a Ford standing behind me. We've been doing a lot more Fords and Ram and Dodges when it comes to the Hellcat platforms for the Ram TRXs and the Dodge Hellcats. Doing a lot more of the 5-liter Mustangs as well as a lot of the GT500s. Standing behind me is a 2020 GT350. They call it the Voodoo 5.2-liter flat plane crank. It sets it apart from the GT and the GT500 because it is still naturally aspirated from the factory, but revs to roughly 8,300 RPMs stock. That's why the flat plane crank, kind of like the GM with the C8 Z06, revs very high. Ford wanted to build a naturally aspirated, just a 12-0-to-1 compression road race car. And this thing, in my opinion, is one of the best handling Ford Mustangs out there. So we take this platform and make it absolutely insane to drive. And let me show you under the hood. So what we do is we call this our Stage 1 GT350 supercharged package, mainly because the customer wanted to keep this on 93 octane. Mr. Faulkner, I don't know where he moved. I want to say he's from Texas, but just moved out of state. So we wanted to complete the car, finish it on 93 octane, and then ship it to, I feel bad, wherever he moved to. So again, Stage 1 supercharger system is a 3-liter Whipple. We run the big throttle body on it. It does come with the billet fuel rails. We run a 72cc injector in this thing because it's on pump gas. For E85 cars, we'd run like a 1,000cc injector instead. And same with the boost levels. We keep the boost roughly around 10 pounds of boost, which is on the safe side for this thing. Being 93 octane, I like to keep them reliable. Going out of state, I want him to be able to hop in this thing, beat the crap out of it, and enjoy it and have no issues. But if he wants more horsepower, which is crazy to say because this thing stock, naturally aspirated, they claim they're like 526 horsepower from the factory. On our dyno, it put down, I think, a little over 440 rear wheel horsepower. We gained over 300 rear wheel horsepower with our Stage 1 package on 93 octane. This thing made, I think, over 750 rear wheel horsepower. And again, that is very conservative with the boost and timing, just to keep it safe for an out-of-state customer that can drive it, beat the crap out of it, and have fun with it. If Mr. Faulkner decides he wants more horsepower later, very simple. This thing has 2 pumps, low side pumps in the behind the seat from the factory. We can run like a boost pump to it or change the fuel pumps out, put larger injectors in it, and put it on E85 and gain another 100 rear wheel horsepower. This thing can make 850 rear wheel horsepower on E85. But picking up over 300 rear wheel horsepower on a car that, in my opinion, handles phenomenally from Ford, there's no reason to really make much more than that. Just keep it nice and safe and enjoy it, right? So this is a high revving RPM engine. The reason why I like the root style supercharger on it is because it gives it that low end torque that it doesn't have from the factory. Again, high revving, you really got to hit the power band, above 4,500, 5,000 RPMs to really feel it. Now with the supercharger on it, as soon as you lay into it, whether you're at 3,000 RPMs, 5,000, 6,000, 8,000, it's gonna make 10 pounds of boost as soon as you stab it, give you that extra torque and go. So I'm gonna stop rambling, I'm gonna hop in it and go have some fun with it. Alright guys, hitting the road with Mr. Faulkner's 2020 GT350. Right off the bat, first thing you notice is the sound, the exhaust note. The flat plane crank in the Mustang sounds completely different than any V8 that you've heard. That is why they call it the Voodoo 5.2 liter, because of the flat plane crank. Very obvious from the sound. If you're inside of it or outside of it, you hear it. At first you might think it's a V6 just because of the exhaust note, but it's not. It's the flat plane crank is built for high RPM, so this thing naturally aspirated, right over 500 horsepower with our supercharged package on it, just our stage 1 on 93 octane, over 300 rear wheel horsepower gains. And in my opinion, driving this car, guys, as y'all know, I drive a lot of GM stuff, including the new ZL1s, the ZL1 1LEs that are built for road racing. This car, in my opinion, Ford did it right. This car makes you want to go out on a road course and enjoy yourselves. It feels a lot lighter than a GT500, even obviously the 5.0 Mustang. Just the suspension on this thing, the way it turns in tracks at high speeds is uncomparable to the other Ford platforms when it comes to the Mustang, in my opinion. And then to take it to that next level, this thing naturally aspirated, don't get me wrong, is a fun-ass car to drive, and to take to a road course would be a fun-ass car to drive. But us gearheads, we want more horsepower. So our stage 1 package, I think, is pretty much the ultimate way to go. You're gaining, this thing went from like 440 rear wheel horsepower to over 750 rear wheel horsepower. And I stopped there because I wanted to keep the boost nice and safe for 93 octane. We can make well over 800 with a little bit more fuel mods and E85, but this customer in particular wanted to keep it on 93. So a 300 rear wheel horsepower gain is stupid on any vehicle, but the reason why I like doing it on this platform in particular is because it is a high revving engine and it doesn't really have any torque down low. So having that root style blower, as soon as I give it gas, and the way this thing's geared, like right now, third gear, 3,000 RPMs, I mean, just rolling into it like that, you feel it right away. Naturally aspirated, it's almost like a 2-stroke. You have to wait for it to get up to almost 6,000 RPMs before it feels like it's going anywhere. This thing, it just makes it a lot more fun to drive, and obviously the horsepower is undeniably a brand new vehicle when you get it back. I am on regular street tires, so I'm gonna leave traction control on. I'm gonna try rolling into it in second and just grab third and see what happens. 4,000 RPMs. Woo! 8,000 RPMs. It sounds phenomenal. And this thing still has stock manifolds, stock cats, stock mufflers, complete stock exhaust system. So this car honestly drives and idles just like a 100% stock car, just with 300 rear wheel horsepower more than it came from the factory. That was fun as shit. That was traction control on in second gear. Again, 4,000 RPMs, rolled into the gas. And again, I know lift shift cars if they're mine. Customer vehicles, I don't know lift shift them. So that was me letting off the gas and grabbing the next gears. But that thing felt fast as shit. And this thing, like I said, on turns, these things handle phenomenal compared to, again, in my opinion, the 5.0 Mustang and even the GT 500. The GT 500 to me just feels more like it's a heavier vehicle, it feels more like a ZL1 or even more like a Hellcat, like the Challenger, just the way that they feel and drive. This feels more like a go-kart, more like a Corvette as far as the nimbleness and just wanting to make turns at high speeds without feeling like you got a heavy boat taking turns. So I'm gonna check out that log real quick, and then if everything looks good, we will, let me see here. So yeah, again, only 10 pounds of boost, nice and safe on 93 octane. Fuel pressure still looks good. And then with the timing in it, guys, we have it safe for 93 octane. Everything does look good. So I'm gonna get it back to the shop, get it cleaned up, and like I said previously, if Mr. Faulkner wants more horsepower with it, we can put it on E85 and retune it, turn the boost up even a little bit more. But these stock engines, they're 12.5. They're 12.0 compression already from the factory. So to run more boost, I wouldn't run more boost unless I put it on E85 or race gas. So the way she is right now, she's nice and safe, and the way that thing just ran, super fast. So you Ford guys out there, GT350, GT500, or even 50 Mustang guys, go to our website, fill out an inquiry. We have several packages we offer, again, from boosted applications to NA applications, whether it's root style superchargers, centrifugal superchargers, or even twin turbo packages. We have all of the above if you want to add 50 horsepower to your car or 1,000 horsepower to your car. Go to our website, fill out an inquiry, and one of our sales staff will get you taken care of. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Again, it's a Ford. I know I'm a GM guy, but these cars, they are fun to drive. I love 3 pedals, and just this thing making turns with the horsepower it has now and the torque it has now, you can actually feel the power down low. Fun to drive. Till next time, guys. Yeah.
So what's going on here?
Taking Pops for a ride. Son moved to Idaho, so Pops is picking it up to drive it back home and then shipping it, right? Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. It's gonna come this afternoon, supposedly. I got one other car to test drive before it comes in, and then the rest just can be on the dyno. But yeah, I said in the video, like, drive this thing compared to, obviously we do a lot of Camaros and stuff like the ZL1s. Right. It's like the comparable one for GM building like a road race style car. This thing just, man, it handles so good. It feels so much lighter. The Camaro feels heavier.
You know, this one's dragging. It's rallying.
Yes. And with this power now,
with the power in it,
yes.
Do either one.
And before, you know, it's a high revving motor, right?
Right.
So you had to be at high RPM to feel it.
To feel it.
Now with the root style blower, you feel this thing at even 3,500, 4,000 RPMs. Wow. You roll into it, it makes 10 pounds of boost instantly. It's so much fun to drive.
Now my brother and I, we had a 68 full race Camaro. Of course, that was in the late 70s, early 80s. You know, you start having kids, everything starts changing, so you got. He did. I mean, I didn't.
Was that a small block?
Yeah. We did pretty good. I mean, it's just. You know,
just drag racing though, like 8th mile, quarter mile stuff.
It was full. It was just cockpit and full race, but you know, it's fun.
Traction control on with these tires, right? So second gear, kept rolling into it. By the time I grabbed third, I'm into it, right?
Yeah.
Second gear, I was kind of just in torque management, everything kicks in for traction control.
Y'all told him to get more aggressive tires for the grip.
Yes, so if he wants,
I can get that. I get that.
Yes, that's traction control on. Yeah, you turn it off, this thing will just light them up. Yeah. Now third gear, you'll be pretty good. But yeah, if he puts a Toyo like on the back of it, then first gear, you know, he could use more. But for the most part, most people in these cars are third gear, second, third gear at the most, and then into fourth gear.
Yeah, because you're pretty.
That rolls, right?
That was awesome. That is some horsepower and torque.
That's the main difference between now and before. Before it was like a two-stroke, right? As a high RPM claim, then it would throw you in the seat. Now it's, I mean, as soon as you hit it, too.
This is scary good.
It's
this is adrenaline pumping.
As soon as you hit it, it's there. That's why I like it.
It's awesome.
Like I said, I don't know lift shift because of customer carb. I mean, you can stay in this thing, keep your foot on the gas, and just grab gears if you really wanted to.
Oh, man.
But I let off the gas and then get back in it.
Oh, yeah.
No point in messing the synchros up.
Right. I always heard they're going to make rubber gears next year. For years.
Eventually, right? Yeah, there's... Listen, even in third, though, like, we'll be at 4,000 RPMs, which isn't even in the power band yet. If you just want to quickly accelerate.
Cops ever stop you? They know you now?
Yeah.
Man, it's a sweet ride. He got this used, but it was like gently.
Dude,
I
it's...
mean, the guy just, I guess, I don't know what happened. I said, wow, man, you need to get that one.
It's in great condition, dude.
Yeah.
It's great.
His first one was a V6, Blackie.
Oh, shit.
He had white stripes and we took them off. I said, yeah, we got to take those off.
First 6-cylinder, we don't need to be racing it.
But it was peppy. But I mean, you know, this was his first, you know,
first car to drive.
car. So I mean, you know, you got to start. Start small. You don't want to wreck a brand new GT 500 or a 350.
Something like, oh yeah, you give a 16-year-old kid this, they're in a ditch that weekend. Trust me.
Yeah, or worse.
Yes.
So I mean, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, I kept watching when y'all had like you could see the shop. Where is that Mustang? You know, I was going, where is that dude? I never could see it.
How'd that feel?
That awesome. Awesome. When you're an adrenaline junkie, that's what gets you going.